Hello students, today we are going to start with the new chapter and the name of the chapter is The Open Window. It is written by H. Munro. Now let's start the story. In the story, there was a person named Frampton Nuttall. He was suffering from nervousness and worries. Doctors had advised him to take complete rest. They told him to avoid all kinds of mental tensions and disturbances, so they planned to spend some time in a rural area in peace. Mr. Nuttall prepared his bag and baggages to migrate to rural area. His sister gave him some letters of introduction because he didn't know anyone there where he was going. With the help of these letters, Frampton could meet and talk to the people. His sister had been there for 4 years ago and knew some persons of the area. Mrs. Stapleton was one of them whom Frampton's sister knew. Frampton Nuttall reached Mrs. Stapleton's home. He met a 15-year-old girl named Vera. She was niece of Mrs. Stapleton. She greeted the guest and told him that her aunt Mrs. Stapleton was busy upstairs. She told him that they should talk together till her aunt reached there. Vera was very calm and confident young lady. She was expert in framing funny stories within no time. First, she confirmed that Nuttall, Mr. Nuttall knew nothing about Mrs. Stapleton and then told a tragic story about Stapleton's family. She told Mr. Nuttall that exactly 3 years ago, Mrs. Stapleton's husband and her two brothers had gone for hunting waterbirds. Then she pointed towards an open window and told that they went through this window but did not return yet. They were engulfed in a treacherous piece of bog. There was also a spaniel dog with them. After this, Vera told Mr. Nuttall that since then her aunt kept this window open, especially in the evening, because she thought that they would come in through this window. Now Vera became slightly serious to show as if she had great sympathy with her mentally upset aunt who still waited for the persons who died 3 years before. Now Mrs. Stapleton reached there with many apologies for being late. Then she talked about the open window and told that her husband and two brothers were about to reach. It was the time of their return after day shooting and they would come in through that window. Mrs. Stapleton's talks certified Vera's story and Mr. Nuttall became confirmed that she was really mentally upset. At this moment, Frampton Little tried to turn the topic of talks because it was mentally disturbing him and he needed peace of mind. But in fact, it was the time of their return, so Mrs. Stapleton went on talking about them and their praise like birds, ducks, etc. In the meantime, Mrs. Stapleton became happy to see them and told Frampton that they had returned. Vera became serious and showed herself as if she was afraid of. To see this all, Mr. Nuttall swung round in his seat and looked through the window. He saw three persons coming towards window along with a spaniel dog. Now it was the climax of Frampton's fear. He thought that he was seeing ghosts. Now he had no option but to run away from that place. He grabbed wildly at his stick and hat and rushed out as quickly as he could. Mrs. Stapleton's husband and her two brothers came in and asked about the man who ran away. Mrs. Stapleton said that he was Mr. Nuttall and she didn't know why he had run away seeing you. Now Vera told that he had run away due to Spaniel. She continued that he told her that he was scared of dogs very much. Once he had been chased by a pack of dogs somewhere on the banks of Ganges and he had to spend that night in a newly dug grave. The dogs remained snarling, grinning, and foaming just above him. So she framed a new story about him as she was expert in making romance at short notice. Students, I hope this story is clear to you. Thank you.